Jake thought he knew what trust looked like. At 24, married for 2 years to his 23-year-old wife Emma, he'd always prided himself on being the secure, supportive husband. Emma was naturally social, and Jake loved that about her. It meant he could have his gaming nights while she enjoyed her friend groups. But sometimes, trust can become a blindfold that keeps you from seeing what's right in front of you.
It started innocently enough with a Facebook group. Emma discovered an online community centered around gaming, specifically Jackbox games, those party games that bring people together through humor and competition. She quickly connected with someone who became her gateway into a new friend circle, 2 other women and 3 men who would spend hours playing together, laughing, sharing inside jokes.
Jake was initially thrilled. While Emma was occupied with her new gaming friends, he could focus on his own social life, hanging out with his buddies, diving deep into video games without feeling guilty about neglecting his wife. It seemed like the perfect arrangement for a young couple trying to balance marriage with individual interests. Emma would come home bubbling with stories from their gaming sessions. The hilarious moments, the clever comebacks, the group dynamics that made these virtual hangouts so entertaining. Jake listened, smiled, and felt grateful that his wife had found such a positive outlet. Her happiness was infectious, and he trusted her completely. The first red flag appeared during one of these casual conversations. Emma mentioned that the original friend from the Facebook group, let's call him Ryan, was being weird and flirting with her and the other women in their group. She assured Jake that she didn't like it and was consistently turning Ryan down. Jake appreciated her transparency and trusted her judgment. But then came the moment that changed everything. Emma was excitedly trying to show Jake a funny picture Ryan had sent to the group chat. As she scrolled through their private messages to find it, Jake caught a glimpse of something that made his stomach drop. Kissy face emojis in their conversation thread. Have you ever discovered something that made you question everything you thought you knew? Share your experience in the comments below. Emma's behavior began shifting in subtle but noticeable ways. She became more protective of her phone, angling it away when texting, taking it to the bathroom, keeping it face down during conversations. Jake had read enough relationship horror stories to recognize these warning signs. The trust that had once felt natural now felt naive. Sleep became elusive for Jake as doubts consumed his thoughts. One night, while Emma slept peacefully beside him, he made a decision that would haunt him regardless of what he found. He picked up her phone and began investigating the relationship that was consuming his peace of mind. What Jake discovered in Emma's direct messages with Ryan was disturbing, but not definitively damning. Ryan was being overtly sexual and inappropriate, pushing boundaries with comments that no married woman should tolerate. Emma's responses were mostly dismissive, but, and this detail ate at Jake, she definitely wasn't shutting it down either. The real evidence lay hidden in Emma's deleted messages. Jake found approximately 1,500 deleted conversations between Emma and Ryan, and these told a completely different story. Gone was the dismissive Emma who merely tolerated Ryan's advances. In these recovered messages, she was playful, teasing, almost flirtatious in return. Among the deleted messages were photos, not explicit nudes, but images showing cleavage that were clearly meant to be provocative. Ryan's responses to these photos were crude and inappropriate, yet Emma's reactions weren't the firm boundaries Jake expected from his wife. Instead, she brushed off his comments in a way that seemed playful and encouraging rather than discouraging. The discovery left Jake feeling sick, angry, and confused. Here was evidence that his wife was engaging in behavior that felt like cheating, yet it existed in a gray area that made him question his own reactions. Was this emotional infidelity?
Was it the beginning of something more serious, or was he overreacting to what might be harmless online flirtation?
Adding to Jake's distress was Emma's recent claim that she and Ryan don't talk anymore. She'd made this statement without knowing that Jake had uncovered their extensive message history. The lie, even if it was meant to spare his feelings, felt like another betrayal on top of the inappropriate relationship itself. Research shows that emotional affairs often begin exactly like this, seemingly innocent online friendships that gradually cross boundaries through increased intimacy, secrecy, and the sharing of content that partners wouldn't appreciate. The 1,500 deleted messages suggest a level of communication that goes far beyond casual friendship. What's your take? Is flirtatious messaging with someone else cheating, or just a gray area? Drop your thoughts in the comments. This is a debate that affects more couples than you might think.
Jake now finds himself in an impossible position. He has evidence of behavior that feels like betrayal, but nothing so concrete that he can definitively call it cheating. He's violated Emma's privacy to obtain this information, which complicates any potential confrontation. And he's left wondering whether this virtual relationship represents a temporary lapse in judgment or the beginning of something that could destroy their marriage.
The modern world of social media and online gaming has created new categories of infidelity that previous generations never had to navigate. Where exactly is the line between harmless fun and emotional cheating? At what point does playful banter become inappropriate? And how should partners handle friendships that exist primarily in digital spaces? For Jake, the immediate challenge is deciding how to address what he's discovered without revealing that he violated Emma's privacy. Traditional advice about open communication feels complicated when the information was obtained through snooping. Yet, ignoring the situation seems equally impossible given what he now knows. The couple's age adds another layer of complexity to this situation. At 23 and 24, Jake and Emma are still figuring out the boundaries and expectations of marriage. They're part of the first generation to navigate social media relationships as married adults without clear social norms to guide them through these digital gray areas.
Trust, once broken, requires deliberate effort to rebuild. Even if Emma's behavior hasn't crossed into physical infidelity, the secrecy, deleted messages, and flirtatious content represent a breach of their marriage boundaries. The question facing Jake isn't just whether this constitutes cheating, it's whether their relationship can recover from this breakdown in honesty and transparency.
Jake's story highlights a modern relationship dilemma. In an age of constant digital connection, how do couples maintain appropriate boundaries while still enjoying individual friendships and interests? The answer requires ongoing communication, clear expectations, and mutual respect for the relationship above all other connections.
The path forward isn't clear. Jake must decide whether to confront Emma about his discoveries, potentially damaging their trust further, or try to address the underlying issues in their relationship that might have contributed to Emma seeking attention elsewhere. Either choice requires courage and a commitment to rebuilding their marriage on a foundation of honesty.
What started as innocent online gaming has evolved into a relationship crisis that will test whether Jake and Emma's marriage can survive the challenges of modern digital temptation. Their story serves as a cautionary tale about the importance of maintaining boundaries and communication in an age where emotional intimacy can develop quickly and secretly through screens. The questions that will define their future remain unanswered. Can Jake trust Emma again after discovering her secret digital relationship? Will Emma recognize that her behavior crossed important boundaries? And can a young marriage survive the trust issues created by our hyper-connected digital world? Their story continues to unfold, representing the challenges
facing countless couples navigating love in the age of social media.